Hello, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make egg curry in the Instant Pot. Now I just find it convenient to use the Instant Pot for this because you can even cook the eggs in the Instant Pot first and then make the curry. But of course you could make this recipe in any other pot as well. It uses very simple spices and it's not very hot, but it's a very delicious curry. You can eat this curry with rice, or you could also eat it with any other kind of flatbread or paratha or roti. I like to eat it with my grain-free parathas or grain-free, gluten-free roti, as well as cauliflower rice, which is another grain-free pulao that I make. So this pairs very well with that as well. So if you want to eat a complete paleo meal, that's another option. All right, let's get started. So we'll start first by boiling the eggs. So I'm adding about 2 cups of water to the insert pot and adding 6 large eggs here. I'm going to use 6 eggs for making this curry, and this recipe serves about 4 people when had as a side dish, along with a side dish of rice. Now I'm going to close the lid and the vent is in the sealing position, and we'll pressure cook it. So change manually the time, press pressure cook and change the time to 10 minutes. Now once the pressure is gone off, I'm trying to open this, so release the pressure carefully. Always use a towel and then open the lid very carefully. It's a lot of steam there. Now I'm going to carefully transfer these eggs into a small bowl, and to cool them off, I'm adding some cold water onto this bowl so that they'll remain immersed in this cold water, and then it becomes easier to peel them off as well. Next, I've cleaned the insert pot and added it back on, and now I'm changing the setting to saute. It's the saute mode, and I'm just, you can put whatever time you want, but I'm just putting 15 minutes here. And now we're adding about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You could also use coconut oil, and adding about half a teaspoon of cumin seeds. Next, I'm adding about 4 to 6 whole peppercorns, 2 bay leaves, 1 piece of cinnamon stick, about 2 to 3 pieces of whole cloves. Now when you add whole spices, it's they remain in the curry and give it flavor. Now I'm adding about 1/4 teaspoon of fennel seeds. So the whole spices, they give subtle flavor to the curry without overwhelming it. So I like to add that. Now I'm adding 2 medium onions thinly sliced. So I'm adding all of that to the pot. Now keep stirring it for about a couple minutes. Now I'm going to add next finely chopped ginger and garlic, which is about a tablespoon each, you could say, like 4 to 6 garlic cloves. Now the next thing that I'm going to add is fresh curry leaves, and these I absolutely love them for all of my curries, as you may have seen. Here I'm going to use about 4 to 6 curry leaves, and I like to add a piece of the stem as well. As long as it's very fresh, it gives really a lot of flavor to the curry. And always tear these leaves or chop them up before adding into the curry, because only then those oils are released. Next, I'm adding about a teaspoon of sea salt. That's to begin with, but you can add later if you want more. Adding about a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, and about half a teaspoon of Kashmiri chili. You could add more if you want it really hot. Then I'm adding 2 teaspoons of coriander powder. Now you could also add green chilies to this, which I have avoided. But if you want that extra kick or heat, you could always add a couple green chilies as well. Next, I'm adding tomatoes. Now, tomatoes is also optional. If you want to keep it tomato free, you could just make this curry the same way without tomatoes, or you could replace it with cranberries. Now, I'm changing the setting of the saute to low so that the spices, the masalas that you've added don't burn. Next, I'm adding about a quarter cup of water, so that again, for the same reason that you don't want the spices to get burned. So I'm just continuing to cook them, stirring them, and while it is still simmering or still cooking, I'm peeling the eggs. It's much easier to peel them once you have immersed them in cold water. And next I'll be just slitting them, like making small slits, not very deep, just like small cuts, shallow cuts on top of the egg, so that helps all the curry flavors to go inside the egg. And that's what makes the eggs really flavorful. And I'm going to place all the eggs into the pot. Now just stir carefully, and then yes, some final spices actually. Now I'm going to add about a little bit of garam masala. You can add anywhere between half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon. I added about a 3/4 teaspoon. And then this is fennel powder, which I grind on my own using fennel. So it's half a teaspoon of fennel, and then quarter teaspoon of black pepper powder. Now this again is optional because it provides heat. But that combination of fennel and black pepper is really good. And now I added 1 cup of more of water. Now just stir carefully to make sure the bottom is like there's nothing stuck in the bottom, and just scrape everything. And now close the lid, again sealing position, and pressure cook it this time only for 5 minutes because your eggs are already cooked. Again, release the steam carefully. And as you see, the gravy or the curry is all nice and thick now. If you want it even thicker, you could just press the saute button again and try to cook it off a couple more minutes. But I like this consistency.